You probably know Homo sapiens as the scientific name for us, humans. But how do we know what makes something a Homo sapiens? Scientific names follow a specific set of rules called the binomial naming system. The first name, called the genus, is a class of things that have common characteristics. The second name is the species. Our genus is Homo. Notable species that share our same genus are Homo erectus and Homo neanderthalensis. Although characteristics of the Homo genus are constantly debated in the scientific community, scientists agree that members of the Homo genus share some common traits. Let's hear from a scientist talk about these traits.
Homo is a grade that is largely the adaptation that we humans have, and tends to include things like a larger brain, encephalization, a adaptation with tools, and the reduction in tooth size, and changes like that.
But how do we know if we are different from something like Homo neanderthalensis? Let's hear from two scientists who can answer this question.
There are essentially two features that really distinguish our early ancestors within the species Homo sapiens, within our own species, from all other species on our family tree. And those two features are having a relatively spherically shaped brain case, rather than an elongated one with a low forehead, but a more spherical shape, as well as having the face, most of the face at least, tucked in under the front of the brain case. Our species is the only vertebrate that's known to have most of its face, or all of its face, tucked in beneath the frontal lobes of the brain, the front part of the brain case, which is why our faces appear with a forehead rather than with a brow ridge and then the rest of the cranium, the rest of the brain case that is situated behind the face. So if you have those two features, you can be pretty certain that that particular individual belonged to our species, even way back in time.
When there's DNA, we can look for direct evidence of mixture. You and the person that's next to you differ by around one base pair out of every 1,000 base pairs of DNA. For a Neanderthal, 1,000 base pairs, the odds are you're different for 1.5 of them. So they have this little extra bit of difference compared to us.
It turns out there are many different ways to define a species. One way is to define a species by its shared physical traits distinguishable from another species, as Dr. Potts explained. Another way is to define a species as a group which can reproduce to make viable offspring. You can also look at average differences in DNA nucleotides, as Dr. Hawks explained. There is no one right way to define a species, and when looking at fossil remains, we generally have to compare all the different information we have to try and find a consensus. But it isn't always easy. For now, we know that humans living today are the only species left in our genus, Homo, and we know that all of us belong to the same species, sapiens.